I've got that, and I've got that, and I'm thinking, and I go straight to the offense, which I just kicked him and I hit him all at the same time. Boom! Then I get it out, see you later. He shoots, parry, hit, palm, kick. Okay, finally, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cross over, step out, and step through. Now, if I didn't do, what if he throws the right, okay? Well, I got another one. Now I'm here, okay? Now I'm back there. Is that a problem? 1, 2, 3. Close it and, oh no, oh, ow, I'm in my neutral bow. Here, you can do whatever you want. There's a lot of good stuff in there though, guys. I mean, there is basically the language, and this was the last piece of work that Ed Parker organized. Now, he had been working on this for a long time, but to actually put it in a book, this was the last thing. This came out right after he passed away, and so forth. But there's a lot of information in here about the way we talk and the way we communicate in Kempo. There's also a lot of confusion in here as well, because the thing is if I gave say we picked out a definition here and I passed this book around the room, everybody would have a different, that definition would mean something different to everybody. Okay, does that make sense? So, and then you got a lot of in Kempo these days is people, they want their own definitions, so they take a lot of these that are already there and they just put new names to them, which is fine, because a lot of arts say the same thing, they just have different ways of saying it. And in Kempo, this is pretty much how we say it with the encyclopedia right here, or we're supposed to. Those of you that know me, a little bit about me, my background, what I do and so forth, my take on Kempo for me is, I used it as a police officer. I used it, it was my main form of defensive tactics out on the street. And when I taught, it was a tool or a vehicle to help me prepare lesson plans and then present lesson plans, not just on defensive tactics, but on a lot of other things as well, to whom I was teaching. But for the Kempo side, the application side of it, to me it's about, will it help you out on the street? To the next guy it may be, will it help me in a tournament? To the next guy it may be, will it help me to preserve my joints and my fitness level as I grow old? So it means different things to different people. But for me, it's been strictly about self-defense, about fighting on the street, and about overcoming an adversary. Okay, I get my fitness from other means. Not that I don't get a fitness side benefit, but if I want a cardio workout, I won't run through 4 or 5 forms. I'll go out and get on the treadmill or something like that. Okay, or pull out P90X and put that in and do something like that. So that's what Kempo is for me. Is it's about street defense and everything. So there's a handful of concepts in there that are really devoted to that. Now we've got techniques in Kempo, right? I mean, we've got techniques on top of techniques on top of techniques. Okay, I mean, I don't know what, there's 240 of them or so to get the black belt, give or take, and there's information there. Okay, and are you a practitioner that just runs through the list of techniques? Are you a practitioner that looks into a technique to see how to apply it? Now, the techniques combined with the definitions, what you got there is, if you want it, is you got a big can of alphabet soup. Okay, you can pop that baby open, dump it out on the floor, and you can find whatever you want in there, right? You can spell any word, any paragraph, any letter you want. Or it's like watching clouds. You sit there at the clouds. I'm like, Jason, what do you see there? That looks like an elephant to me. He says, no, that ain't an elephant. That's a rhinoceros. And we can get into an argument about that. And that's a lot of the mass amount of information in Kempo kind of goes that way. I've tried to stay apart from that and ignore that, because it's a no-win situation, because no two people are gonna agree. So I kind of look at, hey, what's going to help us out on the street, because that's where I'm at. I'm in the martial arts to learn to fight, to learn to defend myself. That's why I'm there. And the martial arts for me as a career has been a way to enhance my way of operating in the real world, okay, and my way of teaching people how to operate in the real world, which is pretty much what I'm doing now. I don't travel anymore. I'm retired from that, okay? So is that making sense?
Yes, sir.
So that's what we're going to go today and tomorrow with this, okay? So with these concepts and these formulas we're going to look at, we're going to take some beginning techniques, make them advanced. We're going to take some advanced techniques, maybe simplify them and so forth, and we're going to try to take a different perspective on other than just working up and down the list. Okay, good to go? I put some of the ones that help me to make a technique more workable, okay? And so we got add, alter, adjust, delete, prefix, suffix, grafting, and compounding. Now, some of these are within themselves, okay? Like we can add a move to a technique at the end of it and it becomes a suffix. You see what I'm saying? So that kind of takes care of that as well, all right? But, you know, some people say, are the techniques, are they okay the way they are? I mean, I like just doing them right off the list and everything. My experience is the odds of you doing a technique in a confrontation just like it is on the book is astronomical. Number one. Number two is this latest version of Kempo. Okay, when was it developed? Mr. Ringus, when was the last version of the 24 system, when did it break and hit the public? Yeah, the late mid-80s. Okay, do we fight now the way that we did in the mid-80s? Do attackers on the street use the same attacks that they do in the mid-80s? Okay? Do people attack you with a knife and just stick it out there and wait for you to do your magic? No, they don't. So I have a hard time believing that if Mr. Parker were still alive, he would have left it that way, because he was constantly evolving and changing and modifying and bettering the system. Am I right? But that stopped when he passed away, and then you got all these little splinter groups, okay? And that's going to happen, guys. And they've all kind of modified the things in their own way. And I've done the same thing, okay? But I still come back to home. And home is still pretty much that list of 24 techniques. And I'll be the first one to tell you guys, there's techniques on there that, you know, like I show them to the guys and I say, okay guys, here's the technique for historical purposes. Boom, now you've seen it. Let's move on to the next one, okay? But so it's not how many techniques you know, it's do you have a few that you can work and do you know how to make them work? Because each technique is like a little encyclopedia of information, okay? Now, there are some power principles that are very popular in Kempo as well, okay? Marriage of gravity, torque, backup mass, body rotation. You guys have all heard, anybody jump in here anytime and throw out some more. Guys have all heard all those, right? Okay, yes, no, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and those are good principles, okay? But, you know, what do some of them mean? Mike, let me borrow you here for a second. Okay, and going back to the bear, just for an example, if Mike grabs and I want to do delayed sword, okay, I drop, okay, and I want to time this to where it hits that arm at the same time, okay? That doesn't take into account a pragmatic aggression, okay, which would be that the guy is not going to give me, even though he grabs, and even though I'm quick, I can sit back there and I can hit that arm, okay? If he's really like some of the guys that I've had to deal with on the street and he wants to hit me with that other hand, it's going to happen. Okay? It's going to happen. So, and I'm not saying block, kick, and chop, delayed sword, is a bad technique. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a block, a kick, and a chop. So we have to go into it to see what we can do with it. Okay? So even though this is very good, and some people will actually teach this technique. They check, they step, they cock, and they pivot, and they put all that force into it. Okay? And they get that on there. All right? That's good. But if Mike wants to just grab and hit like that, is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. And there's the argument, well, he's a beginner. And I'm like, I don't care. Beginners get mugged and attacked and all the time also. So with the block, the kick, and the chop, okay, we can dig into some of these formulas right here and come up with some other things, okay? Now all of these, whether we add a move, alter a move, adjust, which means you're going to change your body angle, etc., delete, we take a move out, prefix, put on the beginning, suffix, we put stuff on the end. Grafting is two techniques done together without a disruption of motion or parts of the techniques, or we do compounding, which is several of these things. If we take a technique and we delete a move here, add a move there, and adjust a move there, that's called compounding. All of these are part of the equation formula, okay? And it's pretty interesting if you get in there and read about it, because it helps you to understand what you can do, okay? So working within the block, the kick, and the chop, all right, knowing, and keep that in mind, pragmatic aggression, okay? That means it's realistic. Knowing the grab is here and the punch is probably going to come right after. Go ahead and grab, Mike. Is this really the best way to get that? Or from the instant he grabs, can I take it out that way? Yes or no?
Sure.
Absolutely. So if he puts that grab on there and I take that and I hit it that way, it's not delayed sword, it's a block, a kick, and a chop, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay? But that kick has done what this step back, controlling height, width, and depth, dropping with marriage of gravity into a good textbook perfect neutral bow is supposed to do, which is cancel the width of that. Okay? So can a beginner not easily stand on 2 feet and learn to shoot a front snap kick really hard and really fast? You have a very nice target above the knee called the femoral nerve. Or if you go a little bit lower than that, you know, put a bottle in his hand or something like that, then maybe a higher level of force is justified. Okay, so if I take it, once again, and he grabs, I'm still going to check this. I don't want it flying in my face. But at the same time I check it, I take it out. Okay? And then if I want to get it off from there, it's off. Now I'm in my picture perfect neutral bow. So we've taken it and we've used some of this to come into the equation formula just with that. And that will make delayed sword, in my opinion, okay? I think I'm qualified to have an opinion on it. That will make delayed sword a lot more valid as a street technique, okay? And we can take it again and so forth. Say I do go for the block first here. Do I have to be in that neutral bow to clear that off? Can I hit it from there and then put it in there and then put the kick on the end? That's still block, kick, and chop, is it not? I like this one, okay? I like going for that one because that is the closest target and it's the hardest one for him to see. Okay, you got to remember, some of the psychological phenomenon that happens to us in a confrontation, such as tunnel vision, sensory distortion, okay, which is size and height. You know, Mike's a little bit shorter than me, but because of the sensory distortion, I may remember him as being that tall. Okay, a sense of slowness, all of these things, a lot of times they happen to your attacker as well. Okay, so this just needs to be reactive. So here's what we're going to warm up with, guys. We're going to go slow at first from a natural position. Just like, hey, I don't want any trouble. Attacker grabs. It's check, kick, block, and then chop. We're going to get just that far. One more time, okay? Check, kick, block, and then chop. Play with it. Okay?